So commodities and equities. And when I look at some of the commodity trading companies that are listed, what I find is that they tend to be very high volume, low margin type of businesses. Give us a sense of what we need to look at when we look at commodities intensive type businesses.
They're low margin now because prices have been down. There was a bear market in the 1980s and 1990s. So they're low margin. But at the end of the bull market, they'll be extremely high margin businesses. I promise you, they'll have huge cash flow and lots of excess cash.
The best ones that you follow today, what are they doing? Some of them probably are trying to build their involvement down the value chain so that they're looking for where the profitable elements are.
Well, the best way to invest in commodities is to invest in commodities themselves rather than commodity stocks. If you invest in commodity stocks, you've got to be an extremely good stock picker. You have to worry about management and unions and greens and hundreds of things. Natural gas has tripled in the last few years, but if you invest in a natural gas company, there are hundreds of them. You've got to pick the right one. You could lose money. If you know a company that's going to discover natural gas in Berlin, you should buy all you can. Don't announce it on the TV. You call me up because I want to buy it too because we'll make a vast fortune. But you've got to buy the right stock. Remember, there are hundreds of them. Enron was a natural gas company. Enron was a major American company which went to zero. Natural gas can go down, but natural gas cannot go to zero. So you have to be extremely good at your stocks if you're going to invest in stocks of commodities. Now, the studies show that you would have made 300% more investing in commodities themselves rather than commodity stocks. That's my experience as well. If you're a good stock picker, sure. But for the most people, they should just invest in commodities themselves.
Well, what's your track record on stocks, on equities? I noticed in some of the books that you've written, you make comments on stocks you like. For example, I noticed that you like airlines, or you mentioned that you like airlines. And it's hard to figure out why because of what it is today.
Did I mention airlines?
I think it was in.
I'm not surprised. I just didn't realize I mentioned it in one of the books.
I'm a bull in China, I think.
Probably. In Bull in China, I didn't make any recommendations at all. I just mentioned...
page 135 in the Bull of China.
Yeah, but those were not recommendations. Let's make clear, because anybody reads the book and only them. The Bull in China is just a survey of the Chinese situation and lots of industries. And in there, I discuss the pros and cons of many industries. And then if you're interested in Industry X, I list a lot of companies that you might or might not be interested in. There are no recommendations in A Bull in China.
In A Bull in China, page 135, you say, I'm generally bullish on airlines, and that certainly includes China. So,
Right, I am generally bullish on airlines. There's no question about that. But I want to make sure you understand. In that book, I say many times, many of the companies in this book are going to go bankrupt.
Right.
These are not a list of recommendations, and they're not a list of recommendations.
Right. I took that sentence because I was looking also for the kind of equities that you're interested in.
Well, I am generally bullish on airlines as a class, and I own Chinese airlines.
Yeah, and I want to get a sense of why you're interested in airlines to get a sense of what you look for. So if
the airline industry worldwide has been a disaster for the last several years. It's lost hundreds of billions of dollars. Many have gone bankrupt. Many have gone bankrupt more than once.
Right.
Usually when you start seeing major bankruptcies in an industry, it's near the bottom of a cycle. In this industry, as I say, many have gone bankrupt and they've lost huge amounts of money. So in my view, in very general terms, unless we're all going to start taking the boat to go to London or to New York, the airline industry is not going to disappear. They're cutting back flights. Nobody's buying many planes, and even if you wanted to buy planes, Boeing and Airbus are having production problems. You couldn't get a plane, so you're not going to see a lot of capacity coming into the airline industry. Many of the planes are getting very old, so the supply of seats is going down, not going up in any case. And as I say, eventually we're all going to be flying somewhere, and they're going to make money again. And the airline industry is a type of industry, if and when they start making money, They make huge amounts of money because it's so leveraged on an operating and a financial basis.
Right.
So there are great opportunities coming. I thought coming already. Well, some airlines are making, new highs as we speak. But like everything else, I'm usually a little early.
Right. What other industries do you like, or do you follow naturally, and you have an affinity?
Well, agriculture is going to be one of the great industries of our time. It's been a horrible industry for 30 years. Water treatment. Asia has a gigantic water problem. Many parts of the world have a gigantic water problem. So water is going to be a spectacular industry going down the road. Asian tourism is going to be a great industry in the future. There has been very little Asian tourism for 300 years. There's some industries that are going to have fantastic futures down the road.
Given the sense that you've traveled the world at least twice, on two major trips, and then I'm sure all the time, do you as an investor look at the world conceptually in the way that it's looked at institutionally today? Do you make a distinction between emerging markets and OECD countries, for example?
No, I just look for things to invest in. If something's cheap, whether it's a commodity or a stock or a country or a currency, no, I don't make any distinctions. All of these distinctions about which you speak are only things that Wall Street, specifically Wall Street, has come up with in the last couple of decades as marketing tools. We invest in, this is an emerging market fund, or this is a growth stock fund, or this is a small cap. I mean, these distinctions are irrelevant to me. The only thing that matters is, where should I put my money to make money?
Right.
The idea that I can only invest in, quote, small cap companies in the United States is a ludicrous waste of time.
Right.